This video is asking us to find the exponential equation through 2 points. So we don't have a table given, but we don't have a graph given, but we do have points given. So it's important to plot those, and it's also extremely important to note that what we have here is a horizontal asymptote listed at y equals 26. So most exponential function problems that you've done previously had an asymptote at 0. This one has it at y equals 26. So a little sketch of that graph to help you visualize that. You don't necessarily need to sketch a graph, but it helps to kind of see what's going on. Not really to scale, but you have 3 to 385 and 5, 3093. But the key thing here is that this asymptote is at y equals 26. So your steps that you need in order to find this equation is to first make a table. You include x equals 0 in that table. And then you're going to, so take a look at that. Here you have your table at x equals 0. We don't know what that is yet, but we have our other points listed on here. So the neat thing about having an asymptote of y equals 26 and not y equals 0 is where their next step is to have to amend the table with another column. This column helps us figure out what the distance is that these points are from each, or distance each of these points are from your asymptote. And so that's an important aspect of finding the correct multiplier, is to have the correct distance. And so that's why what we do is we amend the table. So we make another column here where you have your y minus k, we call it, because we want to find the distance between these two. And so you take your k value, which is 26, and you're going to subtract 26 from each of your y values. So this is going to become 359.37, and this one is going to become 3,913.5393. So these values are really these heights, right, which is what we need in order to be able to calculate this multiplier. So that's why we wanted to find out what that y minus k is. So to calculate that multiplier, we look at what the gap is between these two, and so this is a gap of 2. It's a gap of 2 from 3 to 5 there. And then once you know that that is your gap, you're going to use that to find your multiplier. So we're going to do the square root of next over previous. So 3913.5393. Use all the decimals, don't round it. Divided by 359.37. And when you throw that into your calculator, what you get is a multiplier of 3.3. So now we know what our asymptote is, our k. We know the b, the multiplier, and then we're going to use that to divide. So we have to work all the way backwards here. So we have to divide by 3.3. Looks like we have to divide by it 3 times in order to get back to that term 0 value at y minus k. And when you throw that on your calculator and divide by 3.3 3 times, you end up getting an output of 10. This is the value that we need in order to find the a, or that is our a value. We don't need to know what this is. That is your y-intercept. It might be interesting for a different question, but for writing the equation, all you need is the values that come out of this column. So, a lot of times in some of our work, you'll actually see us as teachers will go through and we'll actually kind of like X out this column because it's not necessary, because your equation is going to be y equals 10 times 3.3 to the x plus 26. Now, I will say that it is important that you remember to put that plus 26 on there, because there are a lot of times that students will forget to do that, but that is a necessary piece because that is the asymptote. And in order to write the correct equation, you need to know the asymptote, the multiplier, and your a value.